The holographic display flickered as Admiral Neha Sharma cut through the static of the emergency transmission. Her weathered hands gripped the edge of the command console aboard the Terra's Vengeance, humanity's flagship dreadnought stationed at the edge of the Vega system. Beside her, Captain Adnan Hassan monitored the tactical readouts, his jaw clenched as the implications of the intercepted message became clear. "They actually did it," Adnan muttered, his voice barely above a whisper. "The Galaxy Council voted to terminate our species." Neha's dark eyes remained fixed on the transmission log. For 3 centuries, humanity had served as the Galaxy Council's enforcers, their shock troops, their problem solvers. When the crystalline Veltar had rebelled against Council taxation, humans had crushed them. When the gas giant dwelling Nephilim had threatened trade routes, human marines had boarded their bioships and ended the conflict in 72 hours. When diseases plagued alien worlds, human doctors had found cures. When pirates terrorized the outer systems, human fleets had restored order. And now, the very aliens they had protected for generations had decided humanity was too dangerous to coexist with. "Admiral," came the voice of Communications Officer Zhang from across the bridge, "we're receiving similar transmissions from every human colony and fleet. The vote was unanimous among the 17 Council races. They're mobilizing their combined fleets to implement what they're calling the final solution." Neha closed her eyes for a moment, remembering the words of her grandfather, who had fought in the old Earth Wars before humanity reached the stars. "When pushed to the wall," he had said, "humans don't just fight back, they fight differently." She opened her eyes and looked at Adnan. The young captain had lost his parents in the Proxima evacuation, had seen his sister die defending a Zephyrian medical convoy from raiders. Like so many humans, he had given everything for the galaxy's peace. "Captain Hassan," Neha said, her voice carrying the weight of command, "transmit to every human vessel, every colony, every outpost. Priority Alpha. Use the old emergency frequencies." Adnan's fingers moved across his console with practiced efficiency. "Ready to transmit, Admiral." "What's the message?" Neha stood, her shoulders squared, her uniform bearing the scars of a dozen campaigns fought for alien worlds that would never welcome her kind again. She thought of the millions of humans scattered across the galaxy, the farmers on New Kansas, the miners in the asteroid belt, the scientists on the research stations, the soldiers manning the frontier posts. All of them were about to learn that their service meant nothing, that their sacrifices had bought them only betrayal. The bridge fell silent. Even the steady hum of the ship's engine seemed to quiet as every officer awaited the order that would determine humanity's fate. In that moment, Neha realized they were asking the wrong question. Not whether humanity would survive, but whether the galaxy would survive humanity's response. She had read the classified reports, the ones the Council thought humans were too primitive to understand. She knew about humanity's psychological profiles, the assessments that labeled them as unusually adaptable and concerning in their capacity for escalation. She knew the Council feared what they called human unpredictability. They had no idea. "Admiral?" Adnan prompted gently. Neha looked out at the stars, at the vast galaxy that had just declared war on her species. Somewhere out there, Council fleets were already moving, expecting to find scattered human settlements ready for slaughter. They expected panic, perhaps desperate last stands, maybe even surrender. They would find none of those things. "The message, Captain, is one word." Her voice carried across the bridge, calm and certain. "Send it on all frequencies, maximum power to every human soul in the galaxy." Adnan's hand hovered over the transmission key. "What's the word, Admiral?" Neha smiled, and it was not a pleasant expression. It was the smile of a species that had climbed from caves to conquer stars, that had survived plagues and wars and the death of their homeworld. It was the smile of apex predators who had been playing by civilized rules only as long as everyone else did the same. "Unleash," she said. The single word pulsed outward at light speed, carried by quantum entanglement communicators to every corner of human space. In research labs, xenobiologists smiled grimly and began opening sealed vaults containing viruses that could target specific alien genetic markers. In asteroid mining facilities, workers started converting their industrial equipment into kinetic bombardment systems. On agricultural worlds, farmers began poisoning food shipments destined for alien markets. In the depths of space, human ghost ships that weren't supposed to exist received the signal and began plotting courses toward Council worlds. The Council had spent centuries cataloging human strengths, their adaptability, their courage, their willingness to sacrifice. But they had made a crucial error. They had forgotten to catalog human weaknesses, the moral restraints that had kept humanity's darker capabilities in check, restraints that had just been removed with a single word. Adnan watched his tactical display as reports flooded in from across human space. Not cries for help or desperate pleas for mercy, but confirmations, coordinates, target assessments. Humanity was not retreating or cowering. It was mobilizing with a speed and efficiency that made the Council's greatest military minds look like amateur strategists. "My God," he whispered. "They have no idea what they've done?" Neha nodded, still watching the stars. "For 300 years, we've been the galaxy's guardians. We've held back the darkness, protected the weak, maintained the peace." She turned to face her bridge crew, men and women who had devoted their lives to serving something greater than themselves. They want to see what humanity looks like without conscience, without restraint, without mercy. Her smile widened, cold as the void between stars. "Let's show them." The Terra's vengeance began its turn toward the galactic core, where the Council worlds basked in the safety that human sacrifice had purchased for them. Behind it, 1,000 other ships made the same turn. Ahead of them, the greatest military force in galactic history prepared for what they expected to be a simple extermination operation. They had awakened something that should have remained sleeping, and now the galaxy would learn why humanity's greatest strength had always been their capacity to become something else entirely, when survival was at stake. The war for humanity's existence had begun with betrayal. It would end with a single devastating truth. Some species were not meant to be pushed to extinction. They were meant to become extinction.